Good day, class. We're still treating communication research methods. However, today we'll be looking at types of questionnaire. In research, the use of questionnaires is a common and effective method of data collection. However, the quality and type of questions included in a questionnaire significantly determine the quality of the data obtained. Broadly, there are two major types of questions used in questionnaires, which are the open ended and closed ended questions. Each type has its unique features, strengths, and weaknesses, and researchers must understand them thoroughly to select the most appropriate format for their studies. Speaking of open ended questions, open ended questions are those that allow respondents to answer freely in their own words, without being restricted by preset options. These questions do not have fixed answers, and respondents are encouraged to provide as much detail as they wish. An example of an open ended question might be: what is your attitude towards Nigerian magazines? The question mark. In this case, the respondent has the freedom to express their thoughts in full rather than choosing from a list of predetermined answers. What are the advantages of open ended questions? One of the key advantages of open ended question is that they allow respondents to express themselves or express their thoughts, their feelings, and experiences in their own words. These often provide richer and more detailed data. It also allows the researcher to assess the respondent's level of understanding and knowledge of the subject matter. In situations where the research topic is new or unfamiliar to the researcher, open ended responses can help generate ideas or themes that can later be used to develop structured close ended questions. Additionally, open ended questions offer respondents a sense of freedom and spontaneity because respondents are not limited by fixed responses. They might share unexpected but important insights, giving the researcher access to information they may not have initially considered. Disadvantages of open ended questions. Despite these advantages, open ended questions also have notable drawbacks. They can be difficult to administer, especially when respondents require clarification or explanation before answering. From the respondent's perspective, open ended questions may be time consuming and mentally demanding, which can lead to a lower response rate. People may not be willing to write long answers, particularly if the questionnaire is lengthy. Another major challenge is in the analysis stage. Unlike close ended questions that can be easily tabulated and coded, open ended responses often require careful reading, interpretation, and categorization, a process known as coding. This makes analysis more time consuming and complex. Moving on is the close ended question. Close ended questions are structured in such a way that respondents must choose from a set of predetermined answers. For example, a question like, what is your sex? Would have two options, male and female. Respondents simply select the option that best represents their answers. Close ended questions are often pre coded, meaning the responses are already assigned numerical values to make analysis easier. Alternatively, respondents might be asked to tick a box corresponding to their answers, which the researcher later codes manually. What are the advantages of close ended questions? Close ended questions are easier to administer both for the researcher and the respondent. Respondents can quickly select answers without needing to write extensively, which can increase the response rate. For the researcher, these questions are easy to analyze, easy to compare, and summarize using statistical methods. Another advantage is that close ended questions help guide respondents who might not fully understand the topic. The available answer options can offer clues and context, just like multiple choice questions in exams, helping the respondents to understand what the researcher is asking. This structure can improve the clarity and reliability of responses. And what are the disadvantages of close ended questions? However, close ended questions also have its own limitations. One major disadvantage is the loss of spontaneity. Respondents are restricted or are boxed to a corner to choose from the options provided, which means they cannot fully express their thoughts if their preferred answers is not listed. This can make responses less rich and detailed compared to open-ended questions. To address this issue, researchers often include a catch-all option such as others, which allows respondents to add their own answer if one of the options fits. Even so, these still limit the level of freedom compared to fully open-ended questions. Another problem is that it is often difficult to list all possible answers to a question, and this affects the exhaustiveness of the options. So, if the list of answers is not exhaustive, some respondents may be forced to choose an option that does not accurately reflect their views. Likewise, options must be mutually exclusive, meaning they should not overlap. For example, in a question asking, "How many newspapers do you read per week?" options like 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6 overlap and can confuse respondents. So, a better approach is to use 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6, ensuring clear, non overlapping categories. Both open-ended and closed-ended questions are essential tools in questionnaire design, each serving specific purposes. Open-ended questions are ideal when the researcher seeks detailed, qualitative insights or when exploring new topics. They offer depth but come with analysis challenges. Closed-ended questions, on the other hand, are useful for collecting standardized, easy to analyze data. They are simple to answer and efficient to process, but may limit the expression of respondents' true opinions. As students and researchers, understanding when and how to use each type is crucial for collecting high quality and meaningful data in any research project. And this is where we'll stop for today's session on types of questionnaires. Thank you very much for your time, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel.